And Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Governor of Louisiana joins us now, Jeff Landry. Jeff, I'm down in New Orleans right now, 99.5 WRNO. Super Bowl preparations in full flex here. What should people know in terms of security? Obviously, just a little bit over a month ago, we had the terror attack, 14 lives lost. How have things changed? How prepared is New Orleans for the Super Bowl coming up this weekend?
Well, look, I got to tell you, I think New Orleans right now is probably the safest place on the planet. I mean, in a span of 4 days, we had the new Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem come in on Monday. Yesterday, our newly sworn in Attorney General Pam Bondi came in. We've had briefing after briefing from our federal partners. The amount of resources that have poured into the city has just been extraordinary. If I could count the man and women hours of all of the different various agencies, state, local, and feds that have been working 24/7 around the clock. Certainly since that tragedy, it's something we were working on over a year ago. I think it's important to put it in perspective. The city of New Orleans 3 years ago was one of the most dangerous cities in the world from a crime standpoint. And so when we came in a year ago, we made public safety a number one issue in the state of Louisiana, and we were focusing on the Super Bowl irrespective. In fact, I was in the city on New Year's night. We had come in New Year's Eve because I was like, we had worked so hard. We had so many wins. Things were looking great. We had the fireworks. We had a great police presence. And then to wake up to that tragedy was just, it was surreal. And we knew that we had to reset, and, we had to deal with families and victims and those that were injured and then put on a Sugar Bowl, all looking towards the Super Bowl. So I feel real good with where we are. And there's been so many people that have put their best foot forward to put the city in the shape it is right now, and we're ready to put the Super Bowl on.
What did you do, Governor? It's Buck. Thanks for being with us. When you said you focused on public safety, can you just give us some of, because as you know, this is something that is very much on the minds of a lot of Americans, especially in states where they have taken a much more lax approach to law enforcement and things have gotten rough, thinking specifically of increases in crime in California, New York, other states. What did you do and what were the results when you're talking about making the streets safe, specifically New Orleans, but also statewide?
Well, first of all, I spent 8 years as the Attorney General. And of course, before I was ever elected, I served as a police officer and a sheriff's deputy. I served as a military police officer in the military as well. So I came from a law enforcement background, and I watched over those last 8 years the struggle that our men and women in uniform had based upon the headwinds that were created over the defund movement, the woke movement, those things that basically eroded our law and order. And so when I ran as governor, I said, we're going to bring law and order back in. And we came in and we did a special session on crime, and we focused on two things. We focused on victims because we had lost sight of victims. We were giving criminals more rights than victims. That's completely upside down in the criminal justice system. And then we worked to strengthen our laws and say, listen, we're going to make sure that the penalty fits the crime. And we understand that sometimes good people make a bad decision and we want to give them a second chance. But if you continue to wreak havoc on our streets and do the same thing over and over again, we're going to put you away. We're going to just put you away. Like, I got enough. You can't be in society until you learn to behave. And that's how we focused. And the legislature responded, and we saw tangible results.
We're talking to Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, who is helping to ensure security safety surrounding the Super Bowl. Governor, President Trump is going to attend the Super Bowl. This was wild to me. I couldn't believe it was true. There has never been a sitting president of the United States ever go to the Super Bowl. What additional security measures need to occur when someone like the president is going to be at a game? And how big of a deal do you think it is for Louisiana, for Trump to become the first president to ever attend a Super Bowl and to do it at a New Orleans event?
Well, I got to tell you, I was just as shocked as you when they gave me that statistic. And I was like, that can't be right. I mean, after 59 Super Bowls, there's never been a sitting president. But lo and behold, you looked it up, and you are absolutely right. Look, I think that it speaks volumes, not only for the country, not only for the event, but for President Trump himself. I mean, look, President Trump is no stranger to the Louisiana Superdome. He was here when LSU won the national championship back when he was the president. We hosted him. I was Attorney General at that time. And of course, for him to be here, and let me just say this, I think for him to be here in this city after the event that happened on New Year's Day in that tragedy speaks volumes for the man that he is. I mean, he is just he's just an unbelievable leader. And he gets it. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to the game because he enjoys football. Don't get any. The president loves to be entertained by football. He's a big football fan. And so I just think having him there is, I mean, I could just go on and on the different messages that it sends to Americans, to folks in Louisiana and around the world.
Speaking of Governor Landry of Louisiana, and Governor Clay is going to be at the Super Bowl Sunday. You're going to be at the Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to. Do I assume, as you're the governor hosting this, you do not tell us which team you are rooting for? I don't know what the policies are here, but if you can't tell us who you're hoping is going to win, can you at least tell us about what the expectations are for the day?
Well, I'm just disappointed my Saints are not in the Super Bowl. You know, that's the part I said. No, look, it's going to be interesting. You know, I've asked that question, and I'm really at odds because, you know, on one side you'd like to see somebody break a Super Bowl record by having 3 consecutive Super Bowls. You got the whole Philly story. The jury's not out yet on me, guys.
I am super excited to see how this is going to go. Governor, I know we talked to you before the Sugar Bowl, and everything eventually came off well there. I know they had to move it a day. So what I have seen on the streets, super security, as you started off by saying, it has been a fabulous week so far, and appreciate the work you're doing and you coming on. What should people know as you leave us here to expect for the Super Bowl from your perspective?
I think they're going to see as the weekend plays into its festivities, just an unbelievable city that does what it does best, which is to host people, no matter who you are, from all walks of life. I mean, that's a tragedy of Bourbon Street. You know, the event is that Bourbon Street is a place that signifies America better than anywhere. All walks of life are welcome there to have fun. But I think the biggest shout out, the most unnoticed thing that is going to go is to the men and women who have been working 24/7 to make sure that those people who come to this city to enjoy themselves are safe. And I thank them.
Amen. The governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, enjoy the game, and hope everybody has a great time this weekend. I know I've been having a good time down here in New Orleans in your state, Governor. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Buck, I mean, he's not kidding about the amount of security that is out and about. I've been down here before for big games. I've been down here before for Mardi Gras. I've never seen the amount of security that is everywhere. And given the fact that the president is going to be coming to the Super Bowl for the first time ever, certainly that security needs to be ramped up even a higher level. When we come back, let's have some fun. Final hour. We will take some of your calls. And dive into the third week of Trump 2.0. And sometimes I feel like things are moving so fast, Buck, that it's hard to keep tap on all the things that have been occurring and all the wins that are going to be stacked up. I've got the latest border crossing numbers, for instance, when we come back. We'll also talk about Trump, scheduled to discuss more with the Prime Minister of Japan, who is having a state visit right there in Washington, D.C. as we speak. Many different moving parts associated with that. Plus, we got some incredible audio. Department of Education, Democrats losing their minds over security guards outside. We'll talk about all that and more. Final hour of the week up next. Come hang with us, Clay and Buck.